imagine a situation. One of your close friend or family member, for example, met with an accident. But you are in a remote location where you do not have communication. Okay. So I'm just taking an example. You can use this for any kind of situation. And the news, when it is getting to you, maybe 1 or 2 days later. Okay. Now this, I took one example for a stressful situation, right? Now think carefully. What time you get the stress? What time you get the stress? Is it the time the incident happened, or is it the time when you get to know it? So give me an answer. So it's a real stressful situation. So tell me the time you get. Is it the time you when happen incident or the time you get to know it? Can someone answer? Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Right. So the example I gave you, something happened to one of your family members or close friends met with an accident, but you got to know it about 2 days later. So my question is, this incident gave you a lot of stress, right? But the stress happen, is it the time exact incident happen, or when you get to know it? Makada hitane? Can you answer? can you give answers? හරියටම incident එක වෙන වෙලාවෙද stress එක ආවේ නැත්නම් after 2 days when you get to know it? කොයි වෙලාවෙද stress එක එන්නේ? අපි දැනගත්තාම නේද? When you get to know about it only we get stress. Right? So can you, now you have to think. Is it the real incident gave you stress, or is it the time when you get to know about it, you get the stress? What do you think? When do you get the stress? So you have to talk, huh? Any of you, can you answer? These are easy questions, but I want you to think in these lines. Or you allow the stress again. So you can unmute your mic and answer. Or put into the chat. Still, I can't see any answers. Got the question? Another question. So anyone, remember your participation, you get marks, okay? So I want you to give answers. Yeah. I'm expecting answers from you. Hope you can hear me. So if you are not answering, I have to point out so I can see few answers. When we get to know about the accident, then only you get the stress. No? Can you repeat the question? Cannot hear me. So when kind of incident happen, which should give you stress. For example, accident happened to someone close to you. So my question is, you get to know about it after 2 days later. So what time you get the stress? Is it when a real incident happened, or when you get to know about it? That is the question. කොයි වෙලාවෙද stress එක එන්නේ? Accident එක වුණ වෙලාවෙද ඔයා දැනගත්තු වෙලාවෙද? So I think it is clear now. We get stress only when we get to know it. No? Now think about it. The real incident එකද stress එක දෙන්නේ අපි දැනගත් ගතිය. So it is not the real incident, but only when we get to know about it, only we get stress, right? Now, what is the true cause for the stress? For example, incident happen. If you do not get the news, do you get stress? So now think about these lines and tell me, What is the cause for your stress? Is it the incident or you get to know about it? What do you think? So I can see answers. When we get to know the accident, right? We get the stress. When we get to know about it, we get stress. So I give you another example. Now, what will happen after 1 week later? You get another news. Earlier news is a false one. කවුරු හරි බොරුවක් කියලා තියෙනවා. Then what would be the situation? So the stress you got, it is unnecessary, right? Now tell me, is it the real incident gave you stress or the news or whatever? When you get to know, you got the stress. When you got to know, you get the stress. But later on, when we get understand that news is false, then what will happen? This you realize it is unnecessary stress you got, no? Now what do you think? So I want you to think in these lines regarding any of the stresses you get. How is it clear we get any kind of stress whenever we get to know about it? Okay. So I very quickly go to next step. Now you have to think about how do you or how do I get to know about outside world? Using what? Can anyone answer? How do you get to know about external events? So how do you get to know about the world or the external events? Using what? So think about that news. How do you get? Maybe you get a email, right? Or telegram or whatever way, right? So my question is, you means your mind. Using what you read, or maybe it's from a news, radio, TV news, you get to know about it. So your side, what are the access doors? Using your sensors, right? So what are the sensors you use for that? So basically our 5 senses we use to get to know about outside. No? So what are the 5 senses? Our eye. We use our eye to see. For example, to read your email, you need your eyes. Right? Or if you get voice message, radio or TV, to hear the voice, you need your ears. Similarly, we might use one of our senses or combination of our senses. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, and the body. Those are the 5 physical senses we use. Or sometimes we use our mind as well, but we'll leave it for a side. So what I want you to see how we use each sensor, or what is the act of each sensor. Okay, so this is going to be your next assignment. How our 5 sensors work. Okay, so you can ask any questions about these things. So I want you to think and also write about those things. How do you get to know about using your eyes? How do you get to know using your ears? Anything? So we'll take the example. So when you hear a sound, you get to know about certain things. So you can try, maybe you get a sound, something outside. Then you know something has happened. So think about it. Do you get to know the reality existing outside, or is it something using your mind is telling you this is what existing outside? For example, you may hear a sound of a vehicle, car or 3-wheeler, bike, or anything, right? When you hear a sound, you think this is from a bus, lorry, car, or something like that. But do you really get to know what is really existing outside, though? Is it something you imagine? So think about these things. We'll have more discussion about this next time. I'll stop the lecture at this point, but I want you to investigate about these things, about 5 senses, what we get to know and what is existing outside. Is it the same thing or different? Okay, so we'll stop there for today.
Thank you, sir.